I'm going to make a very subjective statement. Genshin Impact puzzles are not all that difficult. Sure, once in a while there comes a puzzle that'll leave one momentarily stumped. But give it a minute, things will click, and you're on with your journey, having earned yourself a treasure chest. What I want to ask today is, what if Genshin puzzles were difficult? Because we can certainly make them so by, say, only allowing the use of Traveler. Let us take a look at how creative puzzles could be if the Genshin devs were just a tad bit insane like myself. Part 1. Elemental Monuments. Slowly but surely, the Traveler is gaining access to all 7 elements. Even with them, some elemental monument puzzles aren't as simple as they may first appear. Take these Electro ones on the west cliffs of Watasumi Island. There are 4 of them on timers, and the Traveler's Electro skill has an absurdly long cooldown. If one tries to use skill to activate each, the first will deactivate long before the final monument is reached. Okay then, just toss in Elemental Burst. Except Burst can only trigger monuments upon activation, because striking objects does not trigger follow-up lightning attacks. How do we solve it? We'll need all of this. Sacrificial Sword, enemies, 3 uses of Elemental Skill, and Elemental Burst. We begin by luring a nearby Nobushi to our first monument.
Lightning flash! Thunderclap!
And there you have it, a common chest for all our hard work. Love me those 2 Primo Gems. What if we have elemental monuments for a Traveler element not currently in the game? Things get trickier. Anemo is an element that can become Electro, Hydro, Cryo, or Pyro. When in the overworld, this means simply placing a portable waypoint near the puzzle and warping those elements into the area to then self-swirl. Yep, so long as you don't change maps, such as entering Enkanomiya, Elemental Status, even Elemental Grana will teleport with you. It's inside domains or limited event maps where portable waypoints cannot be used that things get much more entertaining. For example, when you want to activate Pyro monuments, yet your only source of Pyro is clear on the other side of the domain through multiple teleport doors, and you have to carry Pyro status the entire way, using shrubs and grass along the way to refresh its duration. But you accidentally mess up by activating the wrong monuments, and the only way to reset them is to activate them all, forcing the puzzle to reset, because haha, you got the order wrong, except the last one you hit stays active, and like what the heck. So now you have to do it all again, but make sure the correct first monument is actually the last monument you activate in a failed attempt. All because domain progress is saved, and so it takes you almost 2 hours to solve a silly elemental monument puzzle. All for a single exquisite chest. Man, that sure was lots of fun. How come we don't get more puzzles like this, Hoyoverse? There are also times where you have a Hydro monument inside a map where portable waypoints can't be used, but the source of water is too far away and Hydro status wears off before reaching it. So you mercilessly thrash a cute little monster hundreds of times with a dull blade to carry it far outside its spawn point, only to then tear it apart with the force of a tornado because you need that to reset Hydro status on it. See how much more awesome this game could be? What's that? I'm insane. Come on, this is the easy stuff. Not even warmed up yet. Part 2. Dendro Rings. Here we are in the middle of the Aranyaka quest chain. in a domain littered with Dendro rings the traveler isn't supposed to be able to reach. These things are super interesting with the restriction we've set, and it's entirely because the traveler can't use a bow. As we all know, a charge shot via bow to deliver Dendrograna is how players typically activate them. That means we need to do the melee equivalent, charged attack. But how can we do that when those are up there and we're down here? Just use charged attack midair. It's not impossible, and Traveler is one of the few characters who can consistently set it up through the use of Starfell Sword. Behold, the falling charged attack. Puzzles involving Dendro rings aren't usually on timers, so there's no rush. I say usually because there were a few instances of timed puzzles involving them in 3.8's Valerian Mirage. A little fun fact, because this obscure workaround exists, Traveler is capable of completing the entire Aranyaka quest chain alone. Part 3. Ruins Torches. At the time of this video's publication, Pyro Traveler does not exist. That's okay, because as we've already established, Animo can become Pyro. So these puzzles that can only be solved with Pyro should be fine, unless the area is flooded. Now, I get it, I could easily drain the water, but that wouldn't be in the spirit of making puzzles difficult, now would it? And to add one more layer to this delicious cake of difficulty, the Ruins Torches are invisible. To make them visible and to start this puzzle, this mechanism underwater needs activating. Just grabbing the key and swimming over top it isn't gonna work. And diving? Not gonna cut it either. We need to reach deeper. Traveler, take one for the team. The team with just you. By plunge attacking into water with virtually no stamina, the game will hold the character low in the water, and they'll sink even lower. This is just enough to reach the depth needed to activate the device. Grabbing the key suffers from the same problem, but that's nothing a little Starfell Sword magic can't fix. Alright. They're visible. On to lighting them. Since this is the main overworld map, I can use portable waypoints to teleport Pyro status here. The problem is that I need a place to stand that water won't immediately remove it when loading in. I can stand atop the torches, but... aha! Up there. My reward for all this hard work? Draining the water. How ironic. All the effort to avoid draining the water ended up going towards draining the water. Hopefully, you've learned something about the game's mechanics. They're unfortunately mechanics the devs never utilize. But hey, if you find yourself bored with the extreme casualness of the game, maybe you'd fancy implementing them in a challenge of your own. And if you thought this video was the height of insanity, well, no, actually, it gets better. Like clearing puzzle-heavy domains using only the Traveler, jumping, and normal attacks. That's right, no elements. Or clearing archery training in the second act of Inazuma's Archon quest using only Geo-Traveler. Now that is the height of insanity. If you're interested in either, they're on screen now. Do make sure to subscribe for more shenanigans, and feel free to follow me on Twitter @MusashiDen. This is Musashi, signing off. Till next time.